Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol mixed gold tequilas. Here is the famous one, the world famous Cuervo Gold, introduced in 1795. It is a blend of older and younger gold tequilas. Come on, focus, focus. Finally. Plus, it is a mixto tequila. These are mixtos, meaning they are made with a blend of at least 51% Blue Weber agave and also some filler. Could be up to 49% filler. Could be like sugar distillate. The requirements just say filler. It doesn't say what kind. As long as it's 40% alcohol, then it's tequila. Okay. Let me go wipe this bottle off. It's got dust on it. I try to keep everything dusted in here. Now, the competitor was introduced 64 years ago. Juárez Tequila Gold. Yes, this liter bottle was purchased locally, and I'm going to tell you the price, and it's going to sound like I'm making it up, but I'm not making it up. Bought a bottle from our friend David. He's been, sipping on it a little bit. He doesn't care much for tequila, but it was $4.99 for the bottle. They didn't have the silver. I'd like to get the silver so I could have silver and gold, but I haven't bought the silver. But it's the gold, introduced in 1959. NOM 1143, $4.99 for the liter. Now, how did they sell it for that cheap? This I do not know. I do not ask questions when I see these prices. I just go in there and buy it, okay? So, is that the cheapest I'll ever get tequila? I'm pretty sure. And you can imagine those, it was like they had 36 bottles, I think. It was like 3 cases, and they didn't last too long. Imported and bottled by Tequila Jalisco SA, St. Louis, Missouri, which is an alias name for Luxco. And this is if you look at the Luxco website now, I put the brand website for this. Trying to get this thing to focus. Turn on the lamp. That will help. It seems like it confuses the camera when there's no light. But I couldn't show the light. I couldn't have the light on when I was doing this earlier because it would glare on the bottles. You wouldn't be able to see the bottles. But they say on their website that this is the first brand of any type of liquor that they ever sold. So in 1959, when Luxco got started, really it didn't go. It was really 1960 actually when they hit the market. They were developing it in 1959, but I think in reality it was 60 when anybody was able to buy it. But this is the original, and they say it has a special place in their hearts because it's the first, like I said, first brand that Luxco ever sold. Now they have a huge portfolio of all sorts of liquor, bourbon, American blended whiskey, Canadian whiskey of all sorts, Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey that they bring in, tequila, rum, brandy, gin, vodka. Well, you could just, and all kind of liquors, it's going to be like all the rest. They got a whole big line. Okay, appearance is even. So they're very light gold. Do they have any coloring added? No. And I was looking at the regs yesterday, the regulations on Tax and Trade Bureau, and they say it's not allowed to have coloring or flavoring added. Although it also says it's produced under the rules and regulations of the government of Mexico. So even though if U.S. law outlawed that, it wouldn't matter because it's imported under the law of Mexico. Just like Canadian whiskey, if you look at the Tax and Trade Bureau website, it says Canadian whiskey cannot have coloring or flavoring added. But if you go to any liquor store, half the Canadian whiskey's got coloring and flavoring added. So how can that be allowed? Well, it's because Canadian whiskey is produced and exported around the world, or for sure to the United States, under the laws of Canada. So the U.S. regulations have no bearing on it. You understand? The only way that would matter is if somehow Canada joined the United States as 10 new states, and then, yeah, then it would matter. You say, but that's not going to happen. I know. So that's why the regulation is moot. Same thing it has for Irish whiskey and Scotch whiskey. So you can't pay much attention to that because the U.S. cannot regulate foreign countries, although they try, right? Okay, but just like foreign countries can't regulate the United States. Now, France and the European Union says wine cannot be called champagne unless it's made in Champagne, France. Well, there's all kind of American wine brands called champagne, but it might be from California or Florida. You say, well, that's illegal. It can't be champagne. Yeah, technically it can't be because France doesn't allow it, but they don't control the United States, so there's nothing they can do about it. Now they did do something about Miller High Life. They wouldn't allow it to be sold in the European Union anymore because they call it the champagne of beers. And they're like, it can't be champagne. It's not from France. And that's a ridiculous rule, right? Because everybody knows that it's not champagne. No one, and I mean no one, no matter how amateur they were, would ever think that Miller High Life was actual champagne or was claiming to be champagne. It's just a slogan that's clearly not meant to be taken literally. But the United States does silly stuff too, like telling Crown Royal they had to change the name of Bourbon Mash because some people might think it's bourbon. It never claimed to be bourbon, made no statement to that effect. It just said it was a bourbon style whiskey. See, so it cuts both ways. The U.S. will do the same thing it accuses other countries of doing. All right. And I can go to all these liquor stores around here, which means grocery stores in Louisiana, or convenience stores, and I can find tequilas all over the place, and it'll say tequila with natural flavor. You say, but you just finished saying it's not allowed. It's not allowed. I talked about this yesterday evening. It would no longer be a tequila. No, it would be a tequila with natural flavor. Sounds like the regulation isn't really a regulation. It really isn't. You can do whatever you want. You just have to use clarity in the explanation. That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's basically the cut and dry of it. With liquor, you can do anything you want as long as you're open about it. You want to add vanilla flavor to bourbon? Well, I don't know why you would want to do that, but let's say you do. Fine, just put it on the label, bourbon with natural flavors. You got it. Snap, it's done. Not illegal. And as long as you don't claim it's bourbon, you just say it's not a bourbon. It's a bourbon with natural flavors. Oh yeah, sure, it's fine. Okay, we cleared that up. I didn't understand that at first. You know, when I was first reading, I didn't understand it. I was like, well, how can this be? And then I kept reading more carefully. That's important, right? Reading more carefully because it's a very dense handbook. I mean, it's 10 chapters. So I was like, oh, it only took me like the 5th time reading it to get it. Okay, that smells fine. There's a little peppery note and there isn't any smoke. So I'm not sure about this one right now. Yeah, this one's very similar. Now, the Sazerac produced tequila. Tommy Carroll says, cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. Like Slick Willie said, what your definition of is. Well, he was right about that. He was a lawyer, so he spoke in lawyerly terms, you see. he was very careful in what he would say, and other people wouldn't really catch it. I would, because I kind of read between the lines. A lot of other people are like, "Oh, he lied." Well, technically, he didn't lie. He was just very deceptive. I mean, I'm sure, of course, he did lie about other things. He was a pathological, but in that particular case, he was being very careful in his speech. But we won't go into that. He didn't get impeached for lying. He got impeached for, trying to suppress witnesses and tamper with evidence and things like that. And so that the Republicans could get revenge for Watergate. And that's why they had the recent Trump impeachments, so they could get revenge for Bill Clinton. It's like back and forth. Now impeachments don't even mean, it's probably every president from now on will get impeached. And they'll never get convicted. It'd just be like some formality in it. People just won't pay any mind to it anymore. It's like, okay. And whatever party's charging them with the crime will be like, this is terrible. Where is your shame, sir? And then the other people will say, no one cares. It's obviously a witch hunt, a left-wing witch hunt, or it's a vast right-wing conspiracy. You see what I mean? So it loses its shock value. It's already lost the shock value by the third time. It's like, ho, ho, ho. Unless you controlled over 2/3 of the Senate, then there could be a different story. But like in 1974, for instance. Okay. All right. So aroma. This is a little richer aroma, maybe sweet, more full in the nose. So it's making me think that's probably Jose Cuervo. Now, the price I paid for the Juárez, we're not going to call that the regular price, because that is clearly not the regular price. Okay, so don't think you're going to go to a local store and find a liter of this for $4.99, because that's not even within the realm of reasonable probability. You might find a liter of this for $14.99. That sounds a little bit more sensible. But it's still a lot cheaper than Cuervo, because you're going to find a liter of Jose Cuervo for like $27.99. So there's a big price difference. You can get a handle of Juárez for probably $18.99, and you can get a handle of Jose Cuervo for $35.99. So even $39.99 at Walmart, they're kind of high on that. So tequila has gotten really popular lately. It's one of those big deals where like bourbon used to be really cheap, and then it got popular. Now it's like a hobby, and people are like, I got a whole room full of bourbon bottles. And it's like, well, have you drunk them all? Oh no, I never opened them. I can't open them because then it won't have value. It's going to have value. Collect them, and then all of that. And now tequila is big. Irish whiskey went through a period for a while, still in that a little bit, but it was like really big 10 years ago. Everybody was running behind Irish whiskey this way, that way, the other way. And but then it crashes. Eventually, it gets so big, it crashes, and then you can take advantage of the crash. Well, tequila looked like it's gonna be a little while before it crashes, so just expect to pay a lot. Meaning a lot more than it's really worth. Okay. Yeah, this tastes pretty good. But those Sazerac brands, they had no chance against the Cuervo. They're not bad on their own, but they're very bland. Now, if you drink them in isolation, you never try any other tequila, you might think, oh, these are really good. I love Montezuma. I love El Toro. I love, what's the name of that one? Tijuana. Okay, fine. As long as you don't try any other tequilas, you're in good shape. But the problem is you probably will try others, and that's where they'll fall apart. So I was thinking, oh, these three are really nice. Oh, yeah. And then I tried Juárez. Oh, it's a little nicer. And then I tried Jose Cuervo. No chance. Well, I already had tried a fancy one, the relatively fancy one, the Salsa Black Barrel. And I believe Salsa it's not Salsa, it's made by Salsa. It's Hornitos. That's their specialty. Salsa is like the regular cheap brand, and Hornitos is their specialty line. from the 1950s. And Cuervo did the same thing. You ever heard of 1800 tequila? All 100% agave tequilas. They're a lot more expensive than Jose Cuervo. Well, they're made by Jose Cuervo. And before you get the wrong idea, you might look at my posting below and say, "Oh, Proximo Spirits. Don't tell me Jose Cuervo got bought out." No, they own Proximo Spirits. Proximo Spirits is their sort of their brand holding company. Okay, so Cuervo is still family owned. Just Proximo Spirits is part of their company. That's what I'm saying. Louisiana Liquor Reviews. Consider yourself a bargain hunter or a bargain finder. I consider myself both because I do hunt for bargains and I find a lot of them. And Louisiana is the perfect place to be for that because we got them everywhere. All right, sugar water and vegetable juice. That's the Juárez. So Juárez really smells better, but it's no different than the Sazerac brands. I'm just being fair, telling you the truth. If you want a tequila with a lot of flavor, a lot of character, a lot of robust nature to it, and savory flavor, get it, because Cuervo is the deal. I know all the hate. I get that. All liquor to me tastes like sugar water, really. But people around the world say, it's not real tequila. It's a mixto. It is real tequila. It's just a type of tequila. It's like people calling blended whiskey brown vodka. Shows their ignorance. They're just trying to score. Well, they're trying to throw it out there to make themselves look like they got street cred. Like, yeah, I don't mess with that brown vodka. I'm a big shot, and it's like, no, you're not really that big of a shot because you're not even accurately portraying what you're denigrating. If you come out here and say, I don't like blended whiskey, and here's the reasons, that's fine. I'll go along with that. You may as well drink what you like. I don't take issue with that at all. I never do. I never take issue and never have take issue with people that don't like certain products. I take issue with people that want to throw that, throw their weight around like, yeah, I got a certificate and I'm on the internet and I got this many Twitter thing and all. But that's cool too. And then you don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem there. That's where I take issue with it. Okay. If you don't like Seagram 7 Crown, good. Don't drink it. That's fine. You don't have to like it. That's opinions. That doesn't matter. It's important because you want to drink it or not drink it. That's important in that sense. But whatever you like or prefer or don't prefer, that's fine. It's when you say something like it's brown vodka, that's where things ain't fine. That's where it breaks down. That's where the problem is. And it could be the same in politics, Be accurate. Whether you like the politician or not, fine, but don't. The facts are the facts. It's the facts. So Cuervo is the winner again. It is. It's not a contest. I mean, it's a contest, but it's not a true competitive contest. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I remember back in the late 70s, the Cincinnati Bengals played football. They had a team, but they would win 2 games a year. And one time we were like, they beat the Steelers. One game they beat the Steelers. Everybody was like shocked. And then they improved. They went to the Super Bowl. But for those couple of years where they were so bad, it was bad. It was bad. Now people will tell me, well, if you know it's not going to be competitive, why do the competition? Well, it's the same thing about NFL football. You know you can't win, or chances are low. You still play the games, you see, and then you'll get some surprises in there. Not often, but you'll get them. It's more so with pro football because, like my friend Tom says, even the bad teams are good. That's the issue. College football, well, get a lot more mismatches than that. And you're going to have mismatches in liquor, but I still run the tournament all the way through. If people don't want to watch, I don't take offense to that at all. If you say, I just watched a few minutes of it, check in on it. I do the same thing. But I oftentimes watch them all the way start to finish, many times. Do you think people should make their own mistakes without outside help? Well, I don't know if they should make them, but people do make them. It's better to get help, advice. Of course, you want to get advice from people that know what they're talking about. A lot of people give advice, but they don't know what they're talking about. Some people give unsolicited advice. I have a friend that does that, gives me advice I didn't ask for. And I'm like, oh, okay, I just ignore it. Now, if he presses me on it, I'll say, I didn't ask for that advice. I don't, I'm not interested in unsolicited advice. All I said was I was going to go there. I didn't ask for an evaluation of what I was, why I should or should not go there. Okay. Juarez, it's like the same old thing with the other ones. It's just bland and dull. It's not literally bad. It does not taste bad. It's like vegetable juice, sugar water, and the overall 40% alcohol liquor flavor. It's fine, I guess, if you want to drink something dull. And you might come back and say, "But that's the case with a lot of light beers. They're bland." That is the case with a lot of light beers. They are bland, and I do drink them. Okay, but I'll admit that they're bland. And a lot of people drink these real cheap tequilas, but they don't even care that they're bland, and they don't really care to hear you tell them that. They just buy them for like cheap mixed drinks, like with my mix-up series. They're like, "Man, I just bought RC Cola and I'm mixing it with this tequila. I didn't need a lecture on the quality levels of tequila. I'm tired. I got home from work. I'm watching Scooby Doo reruns. I don't need a lecture on the quality of that. I know what it is. I'm just get off my case." People, their attitude would be that way. It's like most people in the world are not liquor. They'll drink a lot of liquor, okay, but they're not liquor hobbyists. They're not like on the internet, like, "Oh, did you see they changed the label? I'm so troubled by that. I hate this new label," and all of that. They don't. It's like beyond. It's beyond their interest level, and that's understandable. So if you have a hobby in liquor and you're doing videos and all, that's a little eccentric, meaning unusual, strange, not bad. I'm not saying it's like immoral or bad. I'd say it's eccentric. It's not. Most people are not going to do that. Most people aren't going to watch that. All right. So I admit that, and I don't deny it. I don't think it's a normal. Look, I don't mean it's abnormal. I just mean it's not the norm. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with it. It's just what most people don't do that. They'll buy liquor and that. But I'm explaining something you know already. What am I even explaining for? Everybody knows that, or they should know it, or hope they know it. So Juarez, what I would recommend it for a basic product. If you find it cheap and you got basic utilitarian purposes for it, meaning simple cocktails, yeah, no problem, because then that's what the website talks about. That's basically what it is. If you're looking for elaborate flavor and intricate tasting and aroma notes, yeah, no, forget it. Cuervo, it is made as a mixer. It's designed, if you read the website, it's pretty much designed as their standard gold tequila mixer. There's two base model Jose Cuervos, the silver and the gold. They're Especial. What's special about them? Well, they just put that name on there. It sounds nice. Okay. But it is clearly superior to these others. It has flavor. You can sip it on its. I'll turn the light off. I know it's dark now. You can sip it on its own and it can stand up. It's like Bacardi rum. You say, "Oh yeah, Bacardi superior." Everybody knows about the silver Bacardi. They sure do. 99.9% of people use it as a rum cocktail. There's no doubt about it. But can it stand on its own as a sipper? Yes, even though that's not its purpose. And it's the same with this one. Now, how's Cuervo Gold going to do tomorrow, August 2nd, against the Hornitos Black Barrel? Well, then it might have met its match. I think it's met its match. But that's not really fair because Hornitos Black Barrel is not a mixer. It's 100% agave specialty tequila aged in the charred, deeply charred oak black barrels. You know, the black inside is black. And then you're taking Cuervo, which is just a obviously better than average mixer, but yeah. So that could, if Cuervo loses that challenge, we have to take those things into account because we want to be fair. We want to be fair about it. Okay, so now once we're finished with tequila on Thursday, the goal is to go into mezcal. And I've got that 400 Conejos, 400 Bunny Rabbits tequila. Oh, I'm sorry, mezcal. And I guess it'll be an okay taste challenge. It's not going to run ahead of the others, but it's not going to fall behind. It'll be even. It'll be fair. It's pretty nice. It's just like a regular old mezcal, which means it's expensive because they're all expensive. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.